Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mattel Jurassic World Rebirth review. Today we're taking a look at the new gigantic Thrashers Purussaurus. This figure is part of Gigantic Thrashers Wave 2, and this figure really caught my eye when it was first announced. Purussaurus is one of the largest known crocs ever to exist. It's technically a giant caiman, and another cool thing about this figure is it's one of the very few figures from Mattel that are, from the post-Cretaceous period. This is actually from the Miocene part of the Cenozoic period. I think it was the Miocene was like 23 to about 5.3 million years ago. So yeah, really cool to get stuff in the Jurassic line that existed past the Cretaceous period. I ended up ordering this figure off of Amazon. I think it retails for around like 25-30 bucks. I honestly don't remember. I just saw it came off a pre-order and I just hit click and it came in the other day. And I believe this wave just recently started showing up in stores. I think someone said they found these at Walmart, but I'll leave that link to Amazon down below in the description if you want to pick one up for yourself. So let's just check out the package really quick, since this is my first gigantic Thrashers. A lot of you know I've been really cutting down on mainline figures on the channel, but something like this I definitely had to pick up. We got the Jurassic World Rebirth logo down here, the Spinosaurus, is the Purussaurus in the back, and then on the back of the box we get a picture of how its total thrashing action works. Very cool. I played with it already in the box, can't wait to get this out. And here is the other gigantic Thrasher, the Chilanteosaurus, another cool local one. I'm probably not going to pick that one up. Like I said, I'm really trying to limit my mainline purchases. Hammer collection is definitely my main focus right now. So enough about the packaging. Let's crack this figure open and take a closer look. And here's the Purussaurus out of the packaging. I have to say, I'm really impressed with this figure. Absolutely love like the dark bluish gray we have for the body, and transitions to a much darker like navy blue for the back and the tail. It does have all those nice gator scoots along the body. You have a row of exaggerated spikes along the back and tail. But hey, if you're gonna be in the Jurassic line, you got to get awesome broed up a little bit from Mattel to make it to make the cut. The head sculpt is great. Purussaurus had a very short, blunt, square-looking snout. Like I said, they're related to caimans, and I really think that head sculpt is pretty accurate. Overall, it's a pretty accurate version of this animal. I believe this is like the only figure of Purussaurus currently on the market, and the color scheme also reminds me of like the old Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Mosasaurus from Mattel, just like those grayish blues. Really, looks similar to the color scheme on this figure. And hey, we got paint apps that go pretty much 3/4 of the way down the tail, so cannot complain about that. So yeah, all around very happy with this figure. For measurements, this figure is 14 inches long from the tip of the snout to the tip of the tail, are about 35.5 centimeters, and I got about 2 3/4 inches to the top of the head, or just under 7 centimeters. So Purussaurus had a wide range of size estimates. There's actually a couple different species, so it's usually between 25 to 36 feet long, or 7.6 to 10.9 meters. So I put this figure somewhere in the 121 to the 130 scale range. And now let's take a look at some of the finer details, starting with that really nice head sculpt. Like I said earlier, very accurate head sculpt to what we know what Purussaurus looked like. That bulbous, flat, squared-looking snout. You can see the nostrils sculpted in at the very top. Eye is done bright orange with a slit pupil. The pupil isn't painted in, it's just the base plastic behind it for the color, but since it's so dark, it actually looks like it's painted in, so I'm not going to really complain about that. And then opening the mouth up, you get to see all the nicely sculpted rubber insert teeth. You got a nice big flat looking crocodile-like tongue. The whole gut mouth is done in glossy pink plastic. And I love when the mouth is closed. You have like those two teeth hanging out the front. They look like fangs. That is a really cool looking touch. You can see the head is sculpted in very dark plastic, and then the lower jaw is sculpted more in that lighter blue plastic. There's a nice contrast. And then going down to the body, you can see all those nice scoots. Does see sculpted in, that row of exaggerated spikes along the back. Go down to the front legs, nice looking caiman crocodile sculpted legs with all those large scales and claws. Same thing for the back legs. And then going down above the back legs, you start to get some nice light markings with paint apps that go all the way down to about 3/4 of the tail, and also the tail it's kind of paddle like at the end. with those extremely exaggerated spikes, which probably isn't accurate, but hey, like I said, you gotta, just turn it up a notch if you're gonna make it into the Jurassic line. So yeah, all around, this figure is really, really cool. I absolutely love it. For articulation, it's fairly limited because this is a mainline figure, but one thing interesting about the front legs, they really, I mean, they can move, but there's like a spring mechanism there that snaps the legs back into place, so you can't really pose them in any other direction. It's really, really weird. Like, you can use a little bit of friction to keep it up, but they snap right back into place. That is very, very interesting. I really haven't seen that on really any mainline figures. And the hind legs, completely different. They're on a ratchet joint that allows them to lock into different positions, and also on the bottom. The feet is the scan code for any users that want to scan this into the fax app, and then going down to the tail, you do have a little articulation there. The end of the tail allows that section to rotate around. I always wonder why Mattel did that. I would always love a hinge joint to allow the tail to swing side to side on all their figures, so I really, really never a fan of that rotation. To activate the action feature, all you need to do is swing the tail from side to side, and that allows the head to swing back and forth with its jaws snapping. And you can also rotate the tail, and it'll still do the same effect. The mouth will just snap up and down, but you stop the neck from swinging side to side. Moving on with comparisons, here it is with the Hammer Collection Robert mold, doing this really hammers home what a massive animal Purussaurus was. Next up are a couple other crocs Mattel has cranked out over the years. In the back, we have the Sarcosuchus, and in the front, it's the Caprosuchus. I'm really surprised we have not gotten a Dinosuchus yet. That is a very, very popular prehistoric croc, and really shocked Mattel hasn't done that yet, especially since that thing made an appearance in the old school Lost World video game shooter. And the other thing I said, too, about Purussaurus, it's one of the very few post-Cretaceous animals in the Jurassic line. The only other one, which is also from the Miocene, is the Cretaceous, and that one came out like maybe less than a year ago, and shockingly, I did not pick that one up. I wanted to get it. It looked cool, and then when I went back to look for it, I could not find it anymore, so a little disappointed myself with that one. But yeah, it's cool that we're getting some animals post-Cretaceous, and hopefully we get some large mammals in the Jurassic line, like woolly mammoths, mastodons, saber-toothed tigers, dire wolves. That really, really make a lot of fans happy if we start seeing that stuff. Next up are a couple of the other mainline figures that I've been really stingy picking up: the Utah Raptor, Myosaur, and Edmontonia. And lastly, let's compare to a few of the newer Hammer Collection figures. In the back, we have the amazing Spinosaurus, the Lost World Velociraptor, and Stegosaurus. The Purussaurus figure is around 121 to 130 scale. So if you go around with that 25-foot length, this figure does scale pretty well with the Hammer Collection. So, final thoughts on Mattel's Purussaurus. They did a great job with this figure. It's a fairly accurate representation of what this prehistoric croc looked like. Head sculpt looks absolutely fantastic. Really digging the dark blue color scheme. I love seeing blue on prehistoric animal figures. And absolutely love the rubber insert teeth on it. Action feature is really fun. All around, a great, great looking toy. Like I said earlier, I got this off of Amazon. Link is down below in the description if you want to pick one up for yourself. So that will do it for the review. I think the next thing I have coming in is the infamous San Diego Comic-Con Buck T-Rex. Mine already shipped, so I should probably have it early next week. So be on the lookout for that review, as well as my thoughts about that set. I have a lot to say about it, even though I bought it. So stay tuned for all that. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.